Hear the voice of the bard, who present, past, and future sees, whose ears have heard the holy word that walked amongst the ancient trees, calling the lapsed soul and weeping in the evening dew, that might control the starry pole, and fallen light renew. O earth, return, arise out of the dewy grass. Night has worn, and the morn rises from the slumberous mass. Turn away no more, O out without, turn away. The starry floor, the watery shore, is given thee to the break of day. Good to be with you, my friends. It is I, your spiritual entertainer. It's still kind of dark out, so I got my lantern in the background there. Out in the sacred grove today, absorbing, we have what is called the buck moon, right? The full moon of this particular moment in the calendar. The buck moon is out in full effect. All of that lunar energies right now. It comes. You won't be able to see it obviously at 10:30 a.m. But all of that energy is at its peak, just in a few hours. Or while we will be out here, right, doing our wonderful stream in the wilderness. Good to see you, Mills Coolin is here. I got to stop in and say hello to his video game stream yesterday. And Sir Flame Drop, yeah, people were asking about you yesterday. Kiki was. Kiki's like, where's Sir Flame Drop? I go, he's still here. He comes around every now and then. Our wonderful jeweler. Nice to see you. Zerg Zerg is here, the goblin. Vixen, the servant of Anubis. All of our wonderful friends for our Grove Stream. I made your day by, yeah, I support all of my community members. If you are certainly a subscriber to my channel, I will certainly do you the courtesy that you do me. I want everyone to be successful here. There's no competition, my friends. My success is your success, is my philosophy in life here. Oh, look at that. I got a scent. Turn it up. You cannot hear me. Is my volume low? Are you not able to hear the voice of your bard here? Look at that. We got the turntables. Got two turntables and a microphone. Oh, my. Do some spellcraft. My voice is my spell, my friend. I'm able to weave such a spell that you will never forget, because I will get into your heart. I will encourage you. I will inspire you. I will guide the direction of your life. That is the power of the voice of the bard. It leads, it guides, it encourages, it inspires. And today, with all of this sacredness around me here in the wilderness, waiting for the sun to rise, right out in my grove. I don't know if I'll be able to do it, my grove stream this weekend. This weekend is Lunasa. So I'm going to be doing a lot of druid stuff with my druid buddies on the weekend. So probably won't be able to make it to the grove, but who knows? I might be. Am I channeling Usandar the blue? No, Usandar the green. Usandar the green. Uh, Steve, good to see you, our good friend, and Pickles the drummer, always playing the percussion instruments with the pickle. Yeah. You are crazy. Yeah. What's wrong with being crazy? Nothing at all. Nothing at all. For your entertainment leisure, right? You want a brisket pizza. Now that's an interesting concept. Yeah. You have been driving home from working last night, gravely injured, a dear. Oh my, I'm sorry to hear that. Cannot be rehabilitated in captivity because of stress. Yeah, that's an unfortunate thing when you hit an animal, right? What do you do, right? Usually, the Fish and the Wildlife Association here, if you call them, they will help you with your animals. So I don't know. There's like a hotline here where I live for the if an animal is injured. I mean, I think if you cannot rehabilitate them, the humane thing to do is to give them that proper passing on, right? If you are able to do that as well. That's what a lot of hunter folk do around here. They will, end the life of the creature. That is always a thing to do. I'm a base druid. Thank you. Thank you. Annie, nice to see you. You had to guide it into the hereafter. Yeah. You made sure to harvest the meat. Yeah. That none went to waste, honoring the memory of this animal and its passing. That is a very good thing that you have done. Morning times are the best in nature, certainly. I love the evening, but the difficulty with the evening here, unless it's winter time, the insects are too active. The evening times in the winter are the best here for me. I'm certainly going to be doing some during last winter. I did lots of live streams out here in the evening. Good to see you, Mitchell. Good to have you here. Or is it Michelle? I can't tell. Mine too. Yeah. Um, Good morning to all of our beautiful mods here. We appreciate all your hard work. One day, moderators. If I ever get real successful, I'm going to pay for all of you to come to Disney World. We're going to have like a mod day where all of your family members, I will pay for all of you to come to Disney World here, wherever you're at in the world. And we're going to have a wonderful vacation or something. That is my hope, because you come here of your own good free will and good nature and deal with all of the difficulties of people, right, that are on here every day. YouTube is a bastion for the depraved in terms of their civilization. So we have to deal with these folks, right? God damn it, no life, welfare, thief. Well, you don't have to live that way. Yeah. You don't have to live that way. I mean, you're saying that to me, right? That's just a reflection of your own state of mind. You don't have to be that way. You have family in Orlando. Oh, it'll be a party. Now let's say within the next 5 years that's going to happen, right? I foresee steady growth is what we are experiencing here, right? We experience steady growth, um, and we've been developing a wonderful community in this steady growth, and I think that's very important. Good to see you, Michael. Good to have you here. Um, Spiritual entertainment, my friends. Every day, 7 days a week, I am here. Don't forget to hit the like button right up there as you're coming in. Very important for me as I do this to make a living, right? Thank you for the stars. You rebuke this demonic stuff in the name of Jesus. There's nothing demonic here. You are a fanatic, sir. I am not against Jesus. I think that's most unfortunate for you to live in this terrible fantasy of everything being terrible all the time. What is it like to live enslaved to fear, right? We have to walk around rebuking everything. It's a terrible experience. I once lived that way, and I'm thankful that I'm no longer subject to being controlled and manipulated, right? Yeah, we don't do rebukings in the Grove. That's one thing I do. This is a sacred place. There is comedy here, but not as much as you would find at my office. Yeah, that's a trooper. Yeah, uh, clearly never read the Bible. Clearly, you are breaking the commandment, "Thou shalt not bear false witness." You are slandering me, sir. I've studied the Bible every day for 30 years. I went to various universities to study it. I taught it. I traveled halfway around the world teaching the Bible. And, you're breaking your own rules there. How does it feel to sin against your God by slandering me, right? You don't know me. You don't know my life. I dedicated much of my life to the Bible. Let's see here. You're not terrible. Jesus loves you, and so do I. Oh, that's wonderful. I don't have a problem with being loved, right? Um, Jesus is the light. No, you are the light. Jesus will not replace you being the light. You have to be that light in the world. If you're not the light, nobody sees Jesus. So be the light. Yeah. The guy that uses scripture to put people down is not good. I'm responding to your inappropriate comments. You're the one not acting civilized. You shall not bear false witness. Slandering someone, saying that I'm something or otherwise without evidence is slander. It's breaking the 10 Commandments. Yeah. I seem like a nice man, thank you. Tony is no stranger, yet he spreads hate. Yeah. Red, nice to see you. Hope you're doing well, Red. Not you, him. Okay, thank you. Michael, thank you. Yeah. I never say anything bad about Jesus. I was a minister. I'm retired. Um, I obviously don't agree with everything in Christianity. I certainly see value in Jesus Christ as a wonderful archetype. Yep. You preach the gospel? Of course I do. Just not the way you want me to, right? The gospel to me is helping people connect to the divine, not giving someone ideas about it. In order to have this form of communication, you must have the reality, right? Why do you revolt against Jesus as a society? I don't revolt against anything. I revolt against Christian fundamentalism, which obviously here is the theme for this morning, unfortunately. We had a good time last night, didn't we? There was no fundamentalists at all. Am I a wizard in the evenings? Here I'm just about. He was without sin, cast the first stone. That's the problem. You can't prove there is any sin at all, right? You can't prove there's any sin at all. Sin implies that there's a God pissed off at you. You cannot prove that God is pissed off at you, right? Light the black candles. I already did. Take a breath, brother. God bless you. It is not my place to breathe. If we want to spread Christ, we want to start conviction. No, it's not for you to do the Holy Spirit's paperwork. You can't go around condemning people and making people feel shameful and guilty. That is not real conviction. When you're on the wrong path, the Spirit enlightens you, right? That is the role of the Spirit. It is not the role of you. You are supposed to be an example of goodness and light in the world. You cannot judge people that way. You cannot do the paperwork of the Holy Spirit. The more you know, right? Let's see here. Where am I at? I could sin as living in lower self. I count sin as living. What is lower self, my friend? Are you the Archemistry from Scotland? Chemistry is a popular name, but we have a member from Scotland by that name. I don't know if you're the same person. I'm saying exactly what you're saying. Sorry if I'm saying it wrong. Yeah. How much drugs have you taken? Oh, I can't keep track. I've been doing drugs for like every day for most of my life in some form of capacity, right? Look at this lesbian. What's wrong with being a lesbian? Everything is God, free will. You cannot prove that you have free will. In fact, science proves that you don't. You have free choice, but your will is subject to your psychology, your physiology, the things that your sociology. Your will is never free. In order for a will to be free, it has no factors telling it how it should respond to the world. Your choices are free, but your will is not free at all. Let's see here. Ooh, lesbians, yeah. Free will is a complex ideology. Yeah, no, free will was invented by the Christian church to explain why God torments people forever. They will blame the person instead of God. It's really a ridiculous concept that is unscientific. You cannot, science teaches us that there is no such thing as a free will, right? There's free choice, but your choices are motivated by how your will has been informed. If you can chain me up and I still have free will, no, you do not. You do not have free will. Every action you take is motivated by previous actions. Your physiology, your psychology, your will is never free. That is a scientific truth. right? Um, being a dick, as you say, would be someone who is mean for the point of being mean. What does it mean to be mean? I don't know what be means. Good to see you, Greg. Good to have you here. Everyone has free thought as well. Not really. You can choose freely to think, but you have to understand something. Your processes of thought are influenced by your physiology, your psychology, and sociology. There's no such thing as freedom when it comes to your will or thinking. It is always influenced. When you realize that, then you can enter a place of freedom. When you understand that, why do I think this way? Because of these factors. That's when you begin to have free will. Until you understand that about yourself, you're not free, right? Am I touching grass? Of course I am, right? They make no sense. What makes no sense here? I've seen you before, I swear. Yes, in your dreams. I was your lover last night. Be born a good, overcome your bad. Your nature is not bad. You cannot prove to me your nature is bad. The idea that you choose what you think is good, even though it might be a bad decision from other people's perspective, demonstrates that your nature is in fact good. You are goodness. You are wonder. You are wonderful. You are worthy, right? The idea that you have a bad nature is really a lie that cannot be proven. Get new pants. The high priestess has commanded it. Gwendolyn here. Let's see here. Oh, that was my daughter there. She's leaving to go with her boyfriend for the day. Um, your will is never free. That's right. There is a difference between free choice and free will, right? An example, I can choose when to take a shit today. I have the freedom to do that. But I'm going to take a shit because my physiology says you need to take a shit, right? There's no way I can get out of that. My physiology demands that I take a shit, but my choice is when to take a shit. You do not have free will. You have free choice. That's big difference. Let's see here. Free will doesn't mean free of consequences. Free will is a farce. Science does not teach freedom of will, right? There is the flesh and the spirit. No, there's only spirituality. There is no dualism. There is no contradiction. These are lies that you have been taught. Every part of you is wonderful. From the hairs on your head to your innermost being, you are worthy. You are wonderful. You are beautiful. That is what you are. You are beauty in action, right? In your beauty, unfortunately, we have a problem in terms of perception, right? We can't help our circumstances that define our direction, our karma. You know, if our parents, for instance, were drug addicts, we are going to inherit their physiology, right? We can't help these things, but we don't have to let them determine us, right? You know, a lot of you are Christians, obviously. I think you would do well to learn from the fathers of the East that ancestral sin is more of a better understanding of why things are the way they are. Because our ancestors chose poorly, we inherit the effects of their whatever they did to their DNA, right? The idea that we are going to be punished by a being because of what somebody else did is erroneous. We certainly suffer from the effects of our ancestors. That is a scientific reality. You know, the Eastern Church Fathers, I think, is what you should be looking into, right? Yeah, the Orthodox Church is what I'm talking about. They are much more sound of mind than all of these lunatic churches of the West. Yeah, we aren't a super species. No, we are not. What is a super species? What the hell is that? Yeah. Gwendolyn here is our scientist. She's like, what the hell is that? I don't believe in hocus pocus or mumbo jumbo. A little mumbo jumbo in your pants will do you some good, Duke of New York. right? As an evolutionary biologist, that's the first I've heard of super species, right? Maybe it's some type of philosophical idea, super species, right? We came from a space rock. That's one theory, that rocks landed here. That was the start of evolution. There's all kinds of these theories. I'm not a primordial soup fan. My theory is that we've always been here. That is based on the fact that there's always been energy in motion. There's always been a cosmos. So I am of um, the theory that humanity has always been here in some form. I can't prove that. It's just a theory, right? How do you think you came to be? Procreation of the species, right? Sharks are your vote for super species? Well, you got a point there. Superorganism, yes, but never super species. Yeah. Humanity is a superorganism. Yeah. Animals can build complex communities, and so can insects, like the ant kingdom, right? I don't care where we came from. Humans just exist, and we're the only intelligent beings in the view. That's bullshit. You have a form of intelligence. Other realities have a form of intelligence. The idea that you are the only intelligent uh, reality is erroneous, right? We live in a complex universe. It is logical to assume that are greater species with greater intelligence, right? We just haven't seen them yet, right? Gandalf on spices. Yeah. I'm gonna go now. Take care, my friend Bod. Take care of yourself. A resident Satanist is on his way out. Slime mold demonstrates emergent intelligence. That's right. You know, just because you have a form of intelligence doesn't mean it's the only form, right? These trees all have intelligence, right? They don't have the same kind of intelligence that we do, but they certainly possess an intelligence, right? Um, for example, like when I come out to my grove every morning, the intelligence here of the animals, when the sun begins to crack its light, you hear birds, you hear all kinds of animals responding to what is going on. That's an intelligence, right? Humans were always here. I say that as a theory. It doesn't quite make sense because you think in terms of being created. You are very Christianized. The Abrahamic religions have an origin point. An origin point is unscientific. There's never been an ex nihilo, the idea of creating out of nothing. There's no such thing as nothing. There's always been a cosmos, right? Animal is more intelligent than humans across. Well, it depends on how you define intelligence, right? There's a lot of stupid human beings, right? Let everything that breathes praise the Lord. See, you are unable to look at the world rationally without a Bible. You have limited your intellect and helping you to describe the universe. So when I tell you that it's a scientific fact that energy cannot be created or destroyed, that the universe has always been here, you will not accept it because you refuse the scientific truth because your book says otherwise, right? You're no different than the people who think the world is 6,000 years old because Jesus' lineage goes back that long, right? Super Scott, good to see you. I look very stupid. Oh God. Well, that reveals the limits of your creativity, right? Uh, in order to think stupid, you must first be stupid. So you have a sense of stupidity already within yourself, and you're trying to define other people by it. That just reveals your limitations, right? The world is 6,000 years old. Oh my goodness. You see how religion makes you kind of like stupid, right? Um, you're on a YouTube live looking like that. Yeah, I'm celebrating my cultural heritage. I'm sorry that you're a bigot and you don't recognize someone's culture, right? What is this spiritual entertainment, Zagram? What we understood as the Big Bang is now understood as part of a larger cycle of bangs and crunches, right? That is science, right? And I'm sure our science will change in 100 years. We'll begin to learn more about the origins of humanity. And like I said, my theory is we've always been here. I can't prove that. That is just a theory, right? Can you say to my friend, Jack off? Nice to see you, Jack off. Yeah. Overcome evil with greater evil. That's day one. That's ridiculous. Yeah. Oh, let's see. 5982 years. Please try to be scientifically accurate. Oh, this is so ridiculous. The idea that the world is, the cosmos is 6,000 years old. You people are quite ignorant, even of your own scriptures. Genesis chapter 1 says, the earth was already here. It was without form. It was void. It certainly existed. That is the narrative. The idea is the God makes a temple out of the earth. He fills it with spiritual entities, and he comes to dwell here. The earth was already here. That is the mythology. Right? Let's see. If your energy throws stones, you throw stones, bigger ones, even make a point. I don't understand the concept of that. Your name is Dixon. Oh, I don't, somebody deleted that. I don't know what you're saying there. Probably something inappropriate, right? The earth was formless. That means it was, that the earth was there. It did not, I understand, see, you don't understand the concept of mythology. You're reading the Bible like a scientific manual. That's not how the original people read it. The Genesis 1 had to do with temple building. If you go to that time period, there was a certain structure of building temples where all of these things were laid out. Then finally the God comes to dwell in the temple. The last thing was putting the image of the deity, the idol, into the temple. That was the human person. And then the God comes to rest in the temple. The temple, the materials were there already. You don't understand the mythology. You recreate it based on your fundamentalism. And you want it to say a certain thing that it does not say, that ancient people would not see it the way you do. You are reinterpreting the text according to how you want to interpret the world you live in. And you have a right to do that, but you look like an ignoramus by trying to see that the world is only 6,000 years old. You have a Bible in your lab flipped to Genesis. Well, good for you. Read it again. Read it in the Hebrew. Tahu and wabahu is what it says in the Hebrew. Formless and void. It's there. It has a reality. The idea of having a piece of clay in your hand. Tahu and wabahu. The clay is real. It is there. Now I'm going to form it into what I want it to be. That's Genesis chapter 1. Start reading it. You need to go get educated. Go take a local college course on scriptures. Stop reading your Bible like a Christian fundamentalist. There's nothing wrong with being educated in the Bible, right? That's far from the truth. Oh, shit. These people, it's just like talking to a wall, right? Talking to a wall out here. You did take a course, probably at a fundamentalist college, right? If you can't understand the context of the language and the people and the culture, your college course was in vain. Yeah. Specifically about Genesis. Was it at a Baptist college, right? Or Pentecostal? Let's see. Here we go. That's right. This is from a Jewish commentary. Not even modern Jewish people read their Bibles like Christians. They understand the mythological component to it. This is really ridiculous what Christians do to their religious text, right? Non-denominational school, that tells me everything. Yeah, you need to go to like maybe, I mean, there's all kinds of wonderful universities that are not interested in your theological biases, right? Um, the Catholic Church, for instance, does a good job in Bible commentary. The Methodist Church as well. The Methodists have done great scholarship when it comes to the church fathers. I mean, there's a lot of good universities out there. Oh shit! Why do we need to be invaded by Christian fundamentalism? What is it today? Wednesday. Wednesday morning is fundamentalist because they weren't here last night, right? They want to invade now, right? Um, let's see. It's funny how the Jewish scholars have moved on, but the copycats are stuck. Yeah, it's unfortunate. Many churches decide to interpret a certain way. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with having your own interpretation. There's nothing wrong with having a traditional interpretation within your church. But understanding the original context and language is very important for getting the proper meaning, right? All churches do this shit. They want to interpret it according to their theology, right? Most of the Bible, if you take it for what it is without your interpretations, you will discover a terrible being that doesn't care about you. Uh, where am I from? Why do you have to keep saying it? I'm from the Rifa of the United States. You're an Israeli? Um, the church stole the Hebrew creation story and tried to make the Christian undestruction. Yeah, well, stealing is not, I think, an appropriate term. The idea of taking someone else's mythology into your context, I think, is a good thing. It's a healthy thing. But what some of the fundamentalism does with it is terrible. Got to turn my lantern off there. There's finally light. The sun is coming out here. God is the truth. The Bible unequivocally rejects the worship of multiple gods. Yeah, it in favor of strict monotheism. The God of the Bible does that. Yeah, he is a jealous God. It's like a little child, right? If you take it the way it says, follow Christ, your Savior. The idea that Jesus is involved in the Bible, that's another subject, right? Scholarship teaches us that the probability of Jesus actually being in the New Testament, 20% of it is his words. And amongst this 20%, they give it their own context. You have all these writings, right, that have a development around experiences of this person, which probably most of that stuff he never said. Catholicism is corrupt. See, you're ignorant because without the Catholic Church, you would not have a Bible. They are the ones that put it together for you, right? So if you are laying claim to the Bible as a canon, you are acknowledging the authority of the Catholic Church. Yeah, I'm no fan of the Catholic Church, but that's your roots. Without them, you wouldn't have anything, right? The Plamora is real. Yeah, well, I would concede to that. Yeah. Yahweh demands that you destroy the Amalekites. We just ask that you could touch the like button up there, my friends. Spiritual entertainment. Tonight is our Christian mission, downtown Deersville. We're going to be saving zombies. Don't forget about that. I might do a stream in the middle of the day. There's this brand new game called, I can't pronounce it, that I'm really interested in. I might stream that. Is the God of the Bible really Yaldabaoth? The God of the Bible is made up. You can call it whatever you want. The Gnostics recognize that the biblical God is terrible, right? And that should be obvious to people. Why not, my wonderful lodge friend? Good to see you. Good to have you here for this wonderful Wednesday morning of the Buck Moon. As I was coming in here this morning, it was so glorious, but unfortunately got covered by clouds. So I wasn't able to get any footage of this wonderful experience here of the wonderful moon. The three dots are the three rays of the symbol of the Awan, or divine interpretation and creativity. Yeah. See, Gwendolyn here is now a member of the Order of Bards, Ovites, and Druids. I'm very honored to take this journey with Gwendolyn. I know a few other people in the community are members as well. The Ethiopian Bible was the first one. Oh, my goodness. Now, to their credit, the Ethiopians have the most finished Old Testament amongst all of the traditions. Um, at some time in the Ethiopian church, though, they were introduced to all these manuscripts and they just ate it up, right? Your Bible was the first one. Do you know that the ancient Egyptians were also believers of polytheism, like they worshipped Osiris, Oman, Ra, Anubis, and Tu? What's interesting about the Old Kingdom dynasty is that Ra was not on top. Kahanum was the high god of the ancient kingdoms of Egypt. Kahanum was the creator of people. He made them out of clay. Kahanum, interesting enough, is mentioned in the Old Testament. He is the lamb that was consumed as part of a judgment against him. So thank you, Why Not, for sharing the gift of membership with all of our friends. Like the Passover is the most misinterpreted thing by Christians. It has to do with consuming a deity and taking its place in the divine council. That's why they ate the lamb. They put its blood on the doorpost as a curse. That curse implied the destruction of all of what it did, which was what? The firstborn of Egypt. That was the mythology. People just don't get it because they're on. I learned all that from a rabbi, right? The generosity of our good friend here, Why Not? The gift of membership. Now, new members. There's going to be a members tab on my page. On there is a Discord link. We'd love to see you on Discord. We have a wonderful community on Discord of atheist, pagan, Christian, Muslim, Jew, self-proclaimed deities, gurus, and fairy folk. And we have all kinds of fun things we do on there. We play games together like Dungeons and Dragons, talk about recipes and life. We even have Satanists on there, right? All getting along under the banner of spiritual entertainment. The beauty of polytheism is most of them are tolerant of other gods, the religion of love and religion of peace. Yeah, yeah, yeah. There's always plus and minuses, right, to religion and how people express it. Yeah, we want to see you on Discord. Gwendolyn has feet pics, if you enjoy that type of eroticism. Yeah, join the server without clothes. That's another option, right? Your first time. It's a he. Thank you very much. Are you talking about he? Yeah, you cannot prove to me that God is only Father. I mean, that is an erroneous position. You can have a father without a mother. There's nothing in the history of the church that forbids you from addressing God as mother. There's never been any church laws. There's never been any opposition. What you do have in the history of Christianity is a tradition of misogyny that doesn't allow you to see the face of the mother, right? You like my rabbit stick? Thank you. Yeah, it helps me to get around here in the wilderness, walking around, right? I'm an old man. I need my walking stick, right? Let's see here. Spiritual entertainment, my friends. 7 days a week I'm here. Don't forget to hit the likey button up there. Lucky. That's a broomstick. You want to fly around with me on it? What are these people, bro? What do you mean, people, bro? You look like a fool. Well, why are you here? Yeah. Why are you here? You sound like a dick. Yeah. Is that true? Yeah. Skyrim's for children. I'm an Oblivion NPC quest giver, damn it. I do this every day, yes I do. Every day for a year now. I've been doing this for a year. The sun is starting to rise, the mist is dispersing here. Soon we will be able to see its glory as it rises up here. The New Testament Gospels state that Jesus' final meal with his disciples took place during the Passover festival. During this meal, Jesus took traditional elements of Passover. Yeah, what he did with the Passover is very interesting. If you understand the mythology of the original Exodus, that consuming the god puts you in the place of the divine council. Kahanum was part of the divine council of the Most High, El Elyon, and he had been abusing his purpose and place. So eating this god, what? Made the Hebrews gods on earth. And they were to be the light of the nations, to lead people back to the Most High. Jesus takes the same ritual, and instead of a god being consumed forcefully, he offers himself freely in the meal. By consuming the Passover, you become what God is. You become a member of the divine council in the world. It's called theosis, divinization. Um, 2 Peter 1:4, you are a partaker of the divine nature. It says it right there. By the 9 divines, that's right, there's 9. There's not 8, damn it. You always respect people. Well, good for you. Yeah. Then it's bro. Yeah. Right. Telos is the truth, my friends. Follow him and you will be okay. All of these other divines, they are shadows in comparison to the great Talos, right? You hear the airplanes above. It's kind of a nuisance out here sometimes hearing the airplanes because we have an airport that's like in the next city. So they're always flying over and interrupting my meditations here. I will look it up yourself. What do you want to look up? If someone is trans, we got the transphobe on here. Yeah, that's kind of disrespectful, right? Um, you know, we live in a society where we must respect one another. Now, you don't have to agree with the other person, but you have to give other people that courtesy, right? And I think it's doing that just makes you look terrible, right? Makes you look like a terrible. Now you're censored for your phobias, right? Let's see. Is this Crystal Lake? The grandson of Gordie Howe is here. Yes, Jason is out here today. He's hunting us down. If you read it, that's what I'm doing. No, you're being rude, is what you're doing. You're being cruel, right? We had an incident here. There was a trans person that was on the news the other day. Obviously, they were obviously trans person, but you could tell that they had some mental disabilities. And this police officer was a dick. He kept calling this person he, aggravating whatever instability the person had. And, people are treating him like some type of hero. If I would fire his ass if I was the chief of police, because this person was obviously unstable and he kept calling him he when the person was identifying as the opposite, right? Which affect the person's mental stability. I don't know if some of you saw that on the news. I thought that was terrible, right? Because I have a transgender child um, that is stable in terms of their mentality, but I mean, this is terrible how you treat other people, right? We live in a trans people have always been here. If you go to indigenous peoples, there's always a place for everyone. Um, Unfortunately, because of the Abrahamic religions, those places are gone, right? In our societies, right? Which is quite unfortunate, right? We love bunnies. That's right, girl Jamie. If you look at gravestones at the church, you realize 10 commandments are carved. Yeah, the idea of the commandments is an enslavement. They used to be elevated, yeah, before they, yeah, you have, for instance, the Sibyl cults, right? You transgendered people did the priesthood of Sibyl in the world, right? Um, they help people to commune with their gods, right? I mean, there's all kinds of history there that is just thrown away in favor of the Abrahamic understanding of the world, right? Um, your cousin is not, I'm going to respect them. I don't call them her or him. I call them because that's what they want. Then you're a good person. Yeah, you don't have to agree with them, but respecting another person and how they want to live, that's important. Um, to have a conversation with them, right? I obviously don't agree with every philosophy out there, but I want to talk to people. I want to respect you where you're at. You have a transgender child as well. Um, Ambula get welcome. Yeah. You know your dog whistles. You agree with Satanism. Well, good for you. Um, yeah. Someone you make uncomfortable, Michael, right? Yeah. Gwendolyn knows all of the secrets, right? Um, of these people and what they do, right? Um, yeah. What is your name? T6 Tools. Good to see you. Good to have you here. You're going outside. This is uncomfortable for you. Um, yeah. Now your true presentation is revealed, right? WTF by good Christian person that you are, unable to have a civilized conversation. Makes you all frustrated. Yeah, when people are different than you, that is their perspective. When it bothers you, that says a lot about you, right? Why, uh, do these people make you uncomfortable that are different than you, right? How are they harming you as a person, right? Um, you have a transgender child. I often remain how he is hated. He is, yeah, yeah. These are, if you're a parent of a transgender person, you get familiar with all of these struggles, right? And all this based in the Abrahamic religions. Because if you had a transgender child in India, there would be no big deal, right? If you are an indigenous person, um, there's always a place in the lodge, right? It's quite unfortunate. Typical Christians, yeah. They gotta keep the pimp hand strong, homie. That's right, my friend. Spiritual entertainment, 7 days a week for your entertainment leisure. The sun is shining, but it's still clouded by the mist here. But it's I don't. I'll try to see if we could see it here for your entertainment. You could see some of the lighting here. Let's see. Take a look. Yeah, you see how beautiful that is, but you can't see it. Unfortunately, there's too much mist. But you do get a good glimpse of the rays of the light coming in into the swamp here. All right, there you are. There you are. You got that right. Modern society has put paid to free will. Yeah, we've had that discussion already. The idea of free choice is a reality, but freedom of will is not. You had an inch of rain last night. Yeah, there was a little bit of rain here. It's quite humid, quite moist out here. This is like the hottest it's been where I live since I've lived down. I've lived down in Florida since 1999, and this is like one of the hottest summers. Right? It broke my damn air conditioner. Oh my! We need a crowd fund. You a good pimp? Yeah, that would be nice. Yeah, yeah. Get some crowdfunding done to help me to provide for my extra testicular services to humanity. Yeah, I agree, sir. You're getting a chemtrail haze. Yeah, yeah. That's an interesting concept, right? that a lot of people, because you do see these things in the sky, right? And they're often, that's just the exhaust of planes, right? That's what we're told, right? But, there's always these stories of people's own government poisoning them in some way. And there's been history that confirms it, right? 95-degree days, yeah, every day, right? Every day here. Girl Jamie is my northern neighbor here. 1999 is graduating from high school. Yeah. Do I agree with Satanism? Yes and no. The Satanic Temple, to me, I support them. They are patriots, right? Their tenets are sound. Now, as a philosophy for humanity, no. I think it is temporary. It's a response to Christianity. It is over control of the government, right? I don't. Satanic philosophies are all very self-centered to me, and don't have any real value for humanity. So I don't agree with it, and I don't like their rituals. I think their rituals, most of them are for show, but they make me uncomfortable. And I think they're unnecessary. I certainly support the philosophy. We have satanic temple members that are part of our channel, and I support them in what they're doing. You remember the Y2K scare? Yeah, that was scary, right? I remember going to sitting with some friends during that time, and it was like, yeah, I just bought 10,000 rounds of ammunition, said the person at the table. Everyone was afraid of this. And the people that were pushing the fear the most was the Christian church. They were saying it's the end of the world and shit like that. I mean, because it was right at 2000. I mean, that's when people get a little loopy, right? Um, Everyone was afraid of the end, right? Everyone was selling these books, all these Christians, about the Y2K, right? And nothing happened, right? There was certainly some, technical things to be concerned about, right? I need to sit down over here. Um, Got to sit down here. My back's kicking my ass this week, so I'm gonna drop it down here under the sacred tree here. Let me move some of my shit out of the way, um, so I can continue this conversation with all of you. Yeah, my arthritis is a pain in the ass, right? Trying to manage it, trying to deal with it. Um, and so this is the best I can do for you. Unfortunately, standing for whatever reason brings a crowd. When I'm walking around with the walking stick here, um, it seems to draw a crowd, but I just can't do it. I'm probably going to have to be sitting down for the rest of the month. Anton Lacey, Aleister Crowley. Aleister Crowley to me is evil. I don't know much about Anton LaVey. I think he was just having a good time. What was funny was, Mr. Bojangles was a part of his church, right? That famous actor and singer, Sammy Davis Jr. Yeah. I remember watching like Geraldo Rivera, and Anton LaVey was on there. And he brought this pictures of Sammy Davis Jr. on there, right? Yeah. Um, let's just sit and chill today. A solitary mind. Uh, Very important to have one of those, right? Crowley took advantage of people, he did. And he hurt animals. He was not a good person. And it's what's unfortunate that people who are exploring the occult and philosophies, they put him in this place where he is some type of wonderful person, and he wasn't. Right? There's many other philosophers you could turn to in terms of New Age practices. Crowley is like turning to Adolf Hitler, right? Reading Mein Kampf, right? Hitler was just misunderstood, right? You wouldn't tolerate that shit now, would you? Right? People promoting Mein Kampf. Well, Mr. Crowley Ozzy Osbourne sang the song about how much of a fraud he was, right? Ozzy knew, right? What do you think of the Theosophical Society? Um, I mean, you have all of these, you know, really, I think stuff like that was a response. These are all like the the stepchildren of the Christian church, really. Because what happened after the Enlightenment is that religion began to divorce spirituality from it. Now that might not make any sense to you because you've been living in this, forever. You know, uh, before the Enlightenment, spirituality was in your backyard. When the Enlightenment came, the church responded by, God is now upstairs in space, and we are down here. The idea of supernatural was invented. Well, you had all of this New Age movement that said, we don't accept that. We want to be able to experience spirituality here. So that was the beginning of all of these theosophical societies, all of these people who are into like the New Age movement was born, which is really just a response in the Western world to Christianity leaving the spiritual behind. Like the Rosicrucians, right? The Rosicrucians were Christians that wanted to live in a spiritual world again, right? Um, William Blake talked a lot about how the religion of his day, because it was terrible. The Christian church made God into an astronaut. The deism began to rule the world. The idea that God is far away. And that's still present in Christianity today. For example, the Catholic Church, the only miracle they have is the Eucharist. Once you leave that church, you're back into the normal non-spiritual world again, right? Look at the way Christian churches celebrate their services. It's like a funeral home, right? They're getting ready to die to be with their God rather than having their God here. That's why a lot of people turn to paganism because they want God here. The gods are here in the trees, in the land, right? Christians were more spiritual before the Roman Catholic Church. Yeah, well, spirituality is subjective. Now, what was different before the imperial control of Christianity? You had all different forms of it, all different kinds, and then you had the one ring to rule them all, right? That's what happened to Christianity, right? Crowley did some things. He also gained knowledge, but was it worth it? He sold his soul, right? A lot of modern spirituality takes influence, like the Wicca, the Gardenian tradition, was influenced by Crowley, right? You know, just because it's influence doesn't make it bad. But the roots of the experiences of Crowley are terrible. I don't believe in it in any one religion either, but no real within me. I don't believe in. Thank you. You don't believe in any one religion either, but be real with me for a second. What do you want to be real about? What is there to be real about here? I'm an entertainer, my friend. What type of reality are you seeking from an entertainer? Uh, why were some gospels rejected? Because they did not make the you see, all of the gospels that were chosen, they supported the narrative of the theological tradition that was in charge, right? The idea of picking a canon was these books support our agenda. So that's why they were chosen. And I mean, if the church had to choose today, they probably would have chose better because of all the contradictions that you do find in these books, right? It's all about agenda. When you have a canon, that means you have an agenda, right? And these were the most books that could control people the most. So that's why they were chosen. Have you seen the guy that calls himself Lord Miles? There's all kinds of lords on YouTube, like Lord Nicholas McKennis, right? Um, I don't know if it's for comedy or they've lost their damn minds, right? Hopefully it's for comedy's sake. Thank you. You didn't mean to give me $10. Well, thank you. Yeah, give me your money. I don't care. I appreciate it, right? An agenda book, that's right. You have to understand that the scriptures were not for your enlightenment, they were for your control. They want everything in them displays a God who is only interested in how you perform, how you behave, how you follow. And if you choose not to take that path, you will be destroyed. There is an agenda in these books. It's not like you're going to like the Buddhist texts, right, that are about how to live an enlightened life. These books are very specific. For instance, he that believeth not is condemned already. This is a control mechanism to make you afraid for not following the rules. And if you doubt the rules, he um, that believes and does not see is blessed. Now, if I said that to you about this tree here as being a deity, he that believes, you would say that I'm insane. But when it comes to this book, you think it is okay. You don't question it because you have been controlled. You have been manipulated into believing it is a good thing. Good morning to you. Good to see you. You're a gay Muslim here? Yeah, glad to have you here. I sound like Martin Luther right now. Martin Luther wanted to reform. He didn't reform anything, he left, right? Yeah. See, they want to call you names. They want to make you look bad when you are threatening them and their terrible religion that they have, right? You are a Protestant. You are this. You are a heretic because they've been taught to see other people that way, that have genuine criticism and concern. You are made afraid because you've been scammed. You've been scammed, right? Underboss is here. Good to see you, our good friend, the underboss. You think a lot of gospels were almost like satire? They often take phrases and descriptions of the gods. Yeah, yeah. What do I think of Freemasonry? Masons are my friends. The Buddha said, don't believe me just because I say it's true. That's right. You should question everything, right? Um, when you go to an institution that says, I have the authority to tell you what to believe, you've just given away your freedom. You've committed, as Albert Camus once said, existential suicide is what you've just done, right? That's what the church wants you to do. They want to be in charge of how you see the world and God and everything. And they will make you afraid if you choose any other path, right? Um, Damn, my nose is so itchy out here right now. Your parents told me that the Bible was made to control people, and your parents were right. That is the purpose of a canon. The idea of collecting a certain narrative is so we can control it. That's why you don't have other books that are recognized as authoritative, right? What's the agenda behind the canon of Dungeons and Dragons? To provide the finest in lore that you can experience. I am a Forgotten Realms canonist. Um, I spent many of my years studying the lore of the realms. It's one of the best, you know, things for me in terms of, you know, the Forgotten Realms lore is beautiful. It is well done. It provides wonderful entertainment, in my opinion. Open the Kabbalah. What is the Kabbalah? I don't know what the hell is that? Is this some type of new book about enlightenment? The Kabbalah. Yeah, tell us about the Kabbalah. I'd like to know about it. Right? Um, Mickey Mouse. or Pikachu? Oh, Pikachu. That's an easy answer, right? Pikachu, right? Neither. You're not for either. We have a Pokemon master in our Discord server, Uma Luna Rose. He loves Pokemon, right? Kabata is bread. Interesting. What do you think of those guys who hang from hooks for spiritual ritual? I think they've lost their goddamn mind. And that's terrible. You have in the history of Christianity people harming themselves, and this is celebrated. That's mental illness, is what it is. The idea that you must punish your body in order to please your God, that is mental illness. It should not be celebrated, right? Like Saint Francis of Assisi, saying that he hates his flesh. That's mental illness. I don't care how wonderful the saint you are. That is a terrible philosophy about your body. Your body is wonderful. Your body is divine, right? You should love your body, right? What is my favorite monster in the Advanced Dungeons and Dragons monster manual? Oh my, you're taking me back to a time that I don't remember. Um, I got my first box set in 1986, first edition, and I don't remember any of that shit. So uh, I can't answer that, right? Um, let's see. Those two mice are worth billions. Certainly, yeah. People suffering will justify it using another method. Certainly, yeah. Going to church in the South, lots of holier than thou people eating themselves to death while condemning the flesh. Yeah, it's sad. The philosophy that you're terrible, the original sin. I mean, this is an evil teaching. Your body is wonderful. It is good, right? Um, and these Christian, they called them the anchorites. They'd hang themselves up in trees and shit. That's mental illness, right? That is something that should not be celebrated, right? When I was a missionary in South America, I went to Saint Rose of Lima's house. She is bonkers. She would tie herself up to anchors, lock herself up. She sandpapered her goddamn face, right? Because someone said she was pretty. I mean, this person she should not have celebrated for these terrible things. She was suffering from mental delusions, right? And it was turned into a religion. Yeah, I think that's a very unfortunate thing. That the Christian church celebrates this, right? These are terrible things. There's an organization in the Catholic Church called Opus Dei. They beat themselves with whips. I mean, what the hell is that shit? Um, they don't all do it the same way, but these people that's unhealthy, right? My son, he graduated from a Roman Catholic university, and his dorm, the guy who ran his dorm that he lived in, he had a ball and chain hooked up to his leg. I mean, that's some weird shit, right? There were he would tell me about people who would wear these tight belts around their body with tacks and shit in them. I mean, that's inappropriate behavior. Yeah, delusional mind from external sources is dangerous. Yeah, religion causes delusion. It can certainly, right? That's what we were talking about. Where have I been? Orange juice. Good to see you again, my friend. Good to see you here. We're out in the grove this morning, relaxing here under my wonderful tree of meditation. Yeah. The Catholic Church dug up a pope to stand trial. Oh, damn. Yeah. The Catholic Church is always apologizing for everything, right? Pope Leo recently apologized for other popes having slaves, right? These people are terrible. The papacy is a terrible and evil thing in the world that controls and manipulates nations and people. They don't have the power they once did, but they certainly still have power. Yeah. In Russia, they have a guy that acts as Jesus, and they literally get beat and crucified. Yeah. What's interesting is in the Philippines, they get really crazy with their Christianity. During the Easter, they crucify real people and parade them down the streets. And there's people whipping themselves. I mean, I remember watching this parade a long time ago. And the guy's like, it's a spiritual experience he says afterwards, right? Being crucified and carried through the streets on a cross. I mean, that's mental illness. Yeah. Yeah. All of this stuff is protected under kink shaming. Oh, damn. The people who crawl on their knees for pilgrimage sites. Yeah, that's ridiculous, right? That is terrible, right? That is a terrible thing that should be discouraged, right? God, God doesn't want you on your knees. God wants you with arms wide open. God wants you to be embraced. There's no need to be on your knees, my friends. You ever have the free mind, free thoughts? So I agree with the left hand path. What is that, Dale? In medieval times, animals would often stand trial for crimes committed. They're accused of demonic possession for eating crops and destroying fences. Yeah, thank you, Christians, for all of your weird shit, right? Oh my, it's getting nice and illuminated here. Um, all of the animals are having a good time here out in the wilderness. Don't knock it until you try it. Look at you. Were the Crusades justified? No. A religion should be something that brings people together, right? Not something that should, you be. When you take up a sword, you're no longer religious, right? Your religion should be one of peace. You should be willing to die for it, right? Now, that doesn't mean that you shouldn't provide safety of the weak, right? Different context, right? How do I feel about Voltec? I think that Voltec is a necessary evil um, because we're all going to need to live in these vaults one day. But they have a greater agenda of controlling the population in the future and controlling the path of humanity, right? And so it's like a double-edged sword when you get your own pod and everything when you become a member of Voltec. Volt 69 for me, buddy. Volt 69. Uh, Crusades were more just banker wars. Yeah, it's a terrible thing, especially when, the Crusaders were supposed to fight against Muslims. But what did they do? They went and sacked Constantinople, the Orthodox Church, right there. Their neighbors, right? What an evil thing, right? Top of the morning to you, our good friend Bruce Bowling. Good to have you here for your entertainment leisure out in the sacred grove today with you, my friends. Um, the most natural place where one can be, right? In the wilderness. Do you think the ends justifies the means? I mean, there's a context for everything, isn't there? Right? Um, you know, I don't believe that you should do evil that good may come. I think that is a terrible philosophy. The idea that that just makes the good that you're doing terrible. If you have to, you never win when you're doing evil that good may come. Right? You never win. Right? The end result is evil. Right? I think it is a terrible philosophy. Yeah, you think so too. Whatever kind of bird that is. Beautiful place. Istanbul is great. It is a beautiful place. Yeah, you've been there, right? Or you have friends there over there in Istanbul, formerly Constantinople, right? Greeks are still pissed off about that shit, right? I had a Greek professor who was a priest, who was an Orthodox priest, and he was always complaining about that, right? He's like, we don't call it that. It's Constantinople, damn it. It was very bitter. Um, and he happened to be a descendant of one of the emperors, which was interesting. Oh, all that cool nightly stuff and castles. Yeah, that's all fun, right? It's it's all fun, all that history and stuff. But a lot of it was not good, right? Oh man, Anton LaVey, you agree with? Why? What has he taught you, right? Has he taught you to be more self-centered, to do things that only help you out, right? You have to understand. Nice to see you, David. No man is an island. We are all one humanity. We are one species. What I do affects you, and what you do affects me, right? Even though we bear the weight, the responsibility of our choices, your choices have an effect on living. We are a species, and in order for us to evolve, we must learn to operate as a unit. We must work together. Philosophy is like do as thou wilt, is not a philosophy that will help our species evolve, right? It is a terrible one. Oh, let's see. You love the King Arthur lore? Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Yeah, it's a lot of fun, right? Vixen doesn't convert people to Christianity. People convert themselves. Yeah, just looking at Vixen. Yeah, Vixen is our Christian Buddhist, right? Castles and dragons is long before they were Christians. Yeah, they just made the castles more better, right? You look out for yourself. Yeah, you have to understand if you're looking out for yourself, that's the end. Uh, those who look out for themselves die by themselves, right? Yeah, that is the end for you. Our species must evolve, and in order for that to happen, we must stop being self-centered. We must see the wholeness and our unity. Jack, nice to see you. Yeah, do what thou wilt. It's a terrible philosophy. It is a terrible philosophy. Choke me in the shallow water before I get too deep. Who said that? I've lost the. I see the lyrics there. Who sang that song? Right. Let's see. David Solomon was wise. He had many, many wives. Amen. Hallelujah. Oh damn. Right. That's an interesting symbol, right? Um, Solomon intermarrying with the nations was a way to bring peace. He probably didn't screw all of these women. They probably still lived with their family members, most of them. But the idea it had to do with treaty. That's why Solomon, the mythology, was he was marrying all of these nations, putting them under the banner of one king. Right? You know, the Solomonic dynasty mythology is, is a historical truth because at one time this existed that affected the whole world. There's plenty of evidence for it, right? And it shouldn't be like discounted. Where have you been, Sheik? It's nice to see you again. How is life to you? Um, Eddie Brickle? Who is that? Who is Eddie Brickle? Um, yeah, we haven't seen the Sheik here in several months, right? I hope you're doing well. Thank you for being a part of our community here. You satanic. What about me is satanic? Why do you say that? What what here says Satan, right? Why do you jump to that conclusion? I would like to know. Oh my goodness, here. Um, the Picts built castles. The the glassified the outer walls by building another wall of wood. Yeah, castle building in one form or another has always been around. Um, the medieval, uh, you know, the Christian knights and all that, they really brought a better form to the structure, right? Am I Jewish? Yes, I'm a gay Jewish sorcerer. Eddie Brickell singing the song. Okay, I don't even remember who that is. Yeah, but I remember the lyric there. Yeah. Let's see here. The Sheik. Thank you, thank you. Life has been living, but I've been lurking. Good to see everyone. Yeah. Good to have you here. A wonderful lurker for your entertainment leisure. Out in the wilderness today, you know, um, experiencing the wonderful energies here in the Grove. Today was the buck moon, which hits its peak at 10:30 a.m., but you can't see it. But all of those lunar energies are here, my friends. Go soak them up. Go soak them up, my friends. You kind of right looking out for yourself. You'll push everyone away and end up alone. That is true, right? You have to. You are a social being. That is the evolutionary reality of your species. Is that you benefit from being a part of a society. When your cells work in harmony, um, you function at your maximum capacity. When your cells do their own thing, what is that called? Cancer, right? It kills you, right? You have to see yourself as a member of a whole, and your decisions matter, right? Wherever you are in the world, it might appear that there is a boundary of separation in your individual experience. But at the root of our existence, we are a functioning species. That we work together is imperative, right? LED lights change the structure of the plant. Yeah. You'll be smoking a spliff with Goblin under a tree, and Vixen will be guarding us with her beard. Oh, the magic of the beard here. You love sweet Jane, last dance for Mary Jane. One more chance to ease the pain away, right? You're perfectly okay with being alone, living alone, dying alone. You're not alone, though. You're never alone. Um, what you do matters, right? Even when no one's around, your choices affect the world you live in. Even if you are living in a cave somewhere where no one could see you, your choices still matter there. Um, I mean, you could go into all type of ontology with that, right? Nice dress, sister. You like it? You like my dress? Yeah. The cops come by, Vixen will strike them down. Yeah. Love that one too. Yeah. Walmart changed their lighting system to LED because of how it impacts humans. Interesting. Yeah. Walmart's always trying to get your dollar, right? Um, Walmart, to me, I worked at a Walmart distribution center when I was going to college. And their philosophies about um, productivity are they don't treat you like a human being. They're only interested in your performance. So that's understandable. They're trying to make money, but they have these philosophies about you should always say hello to people. For instance, at Walmart, if you're in management, you're taught always say hello to people. That's the Sam Walton way, right? But they're not saying hello to you because you're a person. It's because of what they can get out of you, is why they say hello to you. I mean, that makes all of the difference. They're not interested in you as a person. They're interested in saying hello to you because of what they can draw out of you. I mean, this is a terrible philosophy of, you know, that's rooted in, the capitalistic nature of humanity. We are one part of life. That's right. CVS is getting facial recognition, really, so I can go get my medicines. Yeah, last time I go to CVS to get my medicines, a lot of them because it's cheaper there, and you you have to go in and use a computer now before the pharmacist technicians will bring you your medicines. You have to go type everything in, and then they'll come to you, right? Um, things are changing, right? Things are changing. How do you feel about that? That most of your services, you no longer consult a human being. Like I took my daughter to Wendy's yesterday. No one's taking my order anymore. It's some dumb AI that is like lacking in the intelligence department, right? Used to work at CVS. Is that where you work, girl Jamie? You are pharmaceutical technician, right? Do you work at CVS? Are you saying we cannot trust corporations who pay off our politicians? Yeah, well, probably not, right? uh, this is new. When you have there's nothing wrong with wanting to make money. Uh, we mentioned this earlier. Does the ends justify the means, right? Uh, we lose our humanity in our pursuits, right? Where people don't matter anymore, right? And that's the problem. We are losing our humanity in seeking that dollar, right? And I mean, this is an old debate between socialism and capitalism and stuff. Why stay in this philosophical framework? Why not look at the human person, right? To its credit, the Catholic Church has written a lot about the dignity of the human worker, right? Um, there's a lot of teachings about the value of the human person, right? I forgot the particular Romano something or whatever. I forgot. Maybe one of you can educate me on that. Peace be upon you. Audio Holla, good to see you. Yeah, I'm no longer a deacon, my friend. I have retired last year from ministry. I'm just a normal person now. I'm no longer a clergyman. Yeah. Well, I'm actually a clergyman tonight because we run a mission downtown Deersville. So I do put the clergy shirt on for entertainment purposes, right? I ask pharmacists if they went into help people and they turn it into a vaccine pusher, right? Yeah, that's what you get. Have you got your vaccines? Every time I go to CVS, I'm like, I'm not interested, right? Uh, uh, the CVS that I go to, one of the pharmacists, she was one of my parishioners, so we've always had a good conversations, right? Um, um, having a pharmacist who is someone you can talk to. I think that old model, I think is we're losing it, because you're no longer talking to a person, you're talking to robots now, right? Um, these are things we're going to miss in our world. Modern day Druid, good to see you, our good friend. Another member of the Order of Bards, Ovites, and Druids, the modern day Druid here. Um, I will be entering. I just finished the Bardic Grave, my friend, and this Lunasa this Saturday. My Druids friends are going to be doing a little ritual for me for finishing up, and then I don't know when I'm going to start the Ovite um, classes. I might wait a few more months, but I'm looking forward to doing that. We are still a seed group. We only have one druid, and when you get two druids, then you can elevate out of that, right? You can become a grove. So that's the only reason why I want to continue. I'm happy just at the bardic level. I'm very happy there, but I want to be able to our group to do more rituals for people when you have more than one druid in your communities. You can do that, right? The furnace temp or the dam instrumental power. Interesting. Namo Gan Shin Yan Tusa. What is that? Might I interest you in a cheeseburger with druid fries? Look at that. Arthur Tacticus Morgan. You have a hamburger store. Is that what you're doing here, my friend? Time seems like it's going faster daily. It does get that way, right? Um, Time for me seems to be slowing down. Um, I I don't know because maybe I appreciate it a little bit more. And uh, the last, turning 20 years old, I think the last 30 years just it was all about getting someplace, right? I was always going here, doing this, studying that, and becoming an elderly person. Things are slowing down because you really want it to because you're going to die at some point, right? Once you hit 50 years old, the cup is half empty. So you're preparing for death, right? Good to see you, Dad Katos. Good. How have you been, my friend? Good to see you. I will glad you pay you a Tuesday for a hamburger today. Look at that. The bard of the forest. Pizza, pizza, pizza. Good to see you. Yes, I'm out in my sacred grove today, my friends, celebrating the lunar energies of the buck moon. I don't know what that means, why it's called a buck moon, but the full moon is in effect right now, even though you can't see it. All of the lunar energies at the peak at 10:30 a.m., which is right around excuse me, right around the corner. The power of the full moon, right? Yeah, I woke up this morning. I'm like, why do I have all this damn energy? I got up at like 4 a.m. I'm like, it must be a full moon. And I went and checked. I'm like, I'm going to my grove. I'm going to go soak up all that energy with the trees, all of that lunar energy, right? Um, Describe the feeling of how that feels. All of the energy, you feel alive. You feel driven. You feel like there's something wonderful going to happen today, right? And that you have a responsibility of seeking it out. You ever feel that way? I often feel that way Saturday morning for whatever reason, right? The buck moon, maybe the velvet has fully dropped from the atlas of the buck. So that is why it's called the buck moon. Interesting. Interesting. That makes sense, right? Thank you for educating me. You are unemployed? Yeah. My children, all summer long, have had great difficulty finding an employment. My son, he's like kind of hopeless, right? Um, he's been donating his plasma to get by. He has been unable to find employment. It's hard. It's harder and harder to find. When I was younger, you go and fill out an application, talk to the manager. The manager will not talk to you. He'll tell you to go fill out an app online. And so the competition for jobs is terrible right now, right? Don't forget the lotion, Steve. No homo. uh, we live between two voids. What does this say? Before birth and after death, between these two truths, we find ourselves in the ephemeral and fleeting existence. Well, when I see it as I come from the womb, I return back to it. I don't see it as a void. I see it as life, right? And that drives me for this experience here of making life wonderful, right? And enjoying this gift, enjoying the generosity of the giver, the cosmos, the lady, the Sophia, right? Um, Living a life of gratitude takes practice, right? Seeing life as meaningless and pointless Takes no effort at all. Apply at Jack in the Box is we don't have those around. Even the burger joints around here. It's like you got to have a college education to get hired now. I mean, it's ridiculous, right? Um, if your son likes the outdoors, tell him to apply to utility locating services. Normally, they have places in Florida where construction is booming. Yeah, yeah, that might be a good thing. Telling him to go to the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers. That's how I got my start when I was his age. Um, I mean, the power companies are always, needing people all the time, right? The construction. I was a groundsman for a utility company. I drove the trucks and helped put up the electrical poles. I never continued in it because I went off to school. Um, but linesmen, these people make lots of money, right? Because it's one of the most dangerous jobs in the world, being a linesman. The people who put up your electricity, especially during if it's raining outside, it's very dangerous, right? It's during storms and things, very dangerous job. But I was a proud member of the union when I was 18 years old. Um, and I don't. That's a good. I think I'll tell them to do that. At least you could be a tree trimmer. Tree trimming is they're always needing tree trimmers. The popular company in the United States that does tree trimming is Aspen. Aspen. It's called Asflund. It's a German word, right? But Aspen, a very popular tree trimming. I don't know if they're still around. I don't play RuneScape now. I never got into it. Bards like smart. Well, I do have an education, but I share my experiences, and I have lots of experiences because I have not been smart. I have chosen poorly in a lot of my decision making in life. So I've learned from terrible choices. Let's see here. Where are we at? Underwater bomb diffuser. Oh shit, $30 an hour, right? Yeah, you always need those, right? Let's see here. You're trying to work out what would be your favorite class in Dungeons and Dragons to play. My favorite class is Paladin. Um, it is my favorite because that's who I am on the inside. I am a defender of the just, with the righteous cause. So I like being paladins myself. I think a lot of it has to do with what's going on inside of you that would lead to your favorite class, right? You've been driving, only seeing chats at stoplights. Yeah. Are you at work today? Our friend Why Not? He does wonderful community development, right? Um, you've been there and done that, right? Are you in a union, sir? Why not? Are you part of a union? You enjoy this stream tonight, Dale? It's nighttime for you. Yeah, it's still morning for me. And I got about another 20 minutes, my friends. Don't forget to hit the like button. And I should be back around 1 o'clock to play some games with you until like 3:30. And then I'll be back at 6 p.m. tonight for our community stream where community members, we all work together to save zombie souls in 7 Days to Die. Next week, we're going to have schedule changing. Only Saturday and Sunday, I will be doing 7 a.m. streams. The rest will be 8:30 to 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then in the evening times, the themes will vary. I think that's when I will be doing my gaming streams in the evening time during the school year between 5 and 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's what I have planned, except Wednesdays is our mission. That will be 6 to 9 normally, right? But that's the plan for next week. So I hope some of you will be able to. I know that I've been able to reach a lot of people in the morning time because you're going to work and things, right? Uh, I'm not, but you wish you would have joined a union? Yeah. There's great benefits from unions. Of course, the dues suck, right? But they get you all kinds of benefits, right? One of the interesting things was you work 8 hours. When I was in the union, if you go past 8 hours, you get time and a half for the next 2 hours. You get time and a half pay. And after that 2 hours, if you're still working, it's double pay. You get double your pay after that. And, when you're an electrical worker, there's all kinds of problems you have with storms. So you get, imagine working 20-hour days at double your pay, right? I was making a lot of money uh, uh, during the 90s. What was it, 1995, right, when I worked for the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers because of the union. And they had wonderful benefits. Unions are really nice, right? Kimberly Murphy, good to see you. How are you, my friend? Yes, we're out in my sacred grove today. Don't forget, my friends, there's a like button right up there at the top of your screen. Sharing from the wisdom of my grove with you, my friends. Yeah, local visit up to today, all kinds of fun, my friend. You joined a Masonic lodge once, Bard. You had to quit after weeks. Nothing interesting. I'm sorry you didn't get to experience the beauty of the Masonry life, right? I think Masons have a beautiful tradition, very historic, very beautiful. I never had an interest in being a Mason, but I certainly appreciate their history. And we all, if you're an American, you benefit from the lodge. They're the reason why you're here. They're the reason why there is an America, right? We have a lot to be thankful for our Masons, right? There's Sablublu, our Roblox Christian server friend. We are not interested in joining your server. He comes here every day. He's always leaving comments. I mean, he really wants to save my soul bad, right? Masons aren't crazy. They're normal Christians. They are. Um, I, I mean, I don't know if all Masons are Christian, but they have a perennial philosophy that involves Christianity. Why not? You are a Christian person, right? You got zapped by 277 volts the other day. My first thoughts were Bard's lightning bolt spill. Can't hurt that much, right? Yeah, electrocution is a terrible experience. I remember the first time I was electrocuted when I was probably about 7. My hands were all wet, and I touched the electrical button to push the light on and off. And I remember I couldn't pull away from it. The energy began to flow through my body. Something pulled my hand off because I would have certainly died. I just remember that my whole body, um, you know, feeling this pain for several days afterwards. It was terrible. I was in lots of pain. Um, it was a terrible experience that I'll never forget. If we don't work 12 hours a day, your boss says it's part time. Yeah. Well, thank you for all the hard work you do and what you do for the world here. You knew a high ranking Freemason Satanist. Well, I'm sure that there are people that are into Satanism that are Masons. I mean, you're not, I would imagine you're not restricted. But the idea that the Masons are satanic is ridiculous because it's rooted in the Christian tradition. Um, Accept all faiths, yeah. What happened to your cane? You mean my walking stick? I'm sitting down. So my walking stick it's 6 feet. And so I have it off to the side here. I'm having difficulty standing this week because of my arthritis. So a lot of my streams will be sitting down. What's weird is when I'm sitting down, um, the rate of viewership for whatever reason is low. I think it has to do with the bunny, right? You're a Mason, ancient, free, and your uncle, Chief Justice Supreme Dantanus Okanaga? Who is that? I don't know these people. Um, we accept all in here. That's right, Kimberly. Kimberly, thank you for being a part of our community. Kimberly, we'd love to see you on our Discord server. Are you on there already? So, if not, we can get you on there, certainly, because you're a wonderful community member here. It isn't for everyone, right? Some people don't like being in chat groups and things, and that's understandable. Freemason goofies? What does that mean? I don't understand that. Yeah, I'm very grateful for, um, as I've tell people, without the Masons, my son would not be able to speak because of what they have. They they gave their money for the doctor to heal him of his speech, the speech therapy. So I'm always indebted to the Masons. It was the Shriners. The Shriners are part of the Masonic tradition. Um, Maybe you can get a short version to use while you sit. Yeah, like a little. Maybe that's a good idea. Get a little tiny, because that might be a good idea, right? I mean, because this, having this like this kind of looks kind of silly, right? Um, your bunny staff has power. It certainly does, right? It certainly does. I'd like to join Freemasonry one day. Yeah, you have to be invited, right? Um, there are certain, like, you know ways to invite people, right? That are, if you have a friend who is a Mason. I don't know the recruiting procedures. All I know is you can't just go and, let me join your club. There are certain uh, rules about recruiting. I would imagine that, if you are a person of virtue in your communities, and um, there's all of these responsibilities, right? Do those trees speak to you when you are among them? Yeah, but not in English. The way that nature speaks to me, I know that people have like unique experiences. Like my mentor, who is a druid, he trees gave him a song, right? Um, Now, how the trees speak to me is not like I'm talking to another human being. Uh, they speak to me by their presence, if that makes any sense. The trees speak to me as an embrace, an invitation into their experience, if that makes any sense. I think that when people have, like when they hear trees talking and stuff like that, I think that is a mediated experience. That is an entity, or perhaps their psychology, that is allowing them to see into the nature of the tree. I think that we operate by a certain form of intellect, and also the nature operates by those same principles, and everything speaks in its own way, if that makes any sense to you. I reject the Freemasons several times over the years. Well, that's unfortunate. You don't have to be invited. Just go to your lodge. Make sure it's a recognized lodge. Okay, so uh, so that is not true then, that you have to be invited. You can just show up at a lodge and they will recognize your validity, right? Um, Ents are one of your favorite woodland creatures, right? That's uh, yeah. I have Ents in Dungeons and Dragons, right? A dryad who lives in the tree, the Fae. Yeah, yeah. I think that my ancestors were able to see, like the idea of a dryad, that there's a presence. I think uh, there are memories that dwell in places, that of our ancestors that are certainly in trees, that are certainly in land, that these places are living, right? The idea of a sacred tree, right, speaks to you in a certain way. Do a spell. I am doing a spell. I'm getting into your heart. The Freemasons are a pretty good movement and go by the teachings of Solomon, who hold rumors about satanic churches as all financial pyramid scheme in the Middle Ages to slander. Yeah, it was created by the Catholic Church. The Catholic Church was threatened by the Masons and their perennial philosophies that wisdom is in all traditions. You can find God. You don't have to be a Christian to have God, right? Uh, Holding energy, yeah. Rodney, right? Rodney the Roach, good to see you. Um, Good to have you here, Rodney. Tree, you're a bee. So is your mom, but are a job bee. I don't understand the poem. Is that a famous poem or something? You can visit, but you won't be admitted to view rituals until a vote is taken. Um, in terms of a lodge, I would imagine so, right? Do you have oak trees in the grove? Yeah, I got one right behind me here. These are called laurel oak trees. They are this, like where my ancestors lived, they only had like one kind of oak tree, right? I got a bug in my mouth. But here in Florida, there's like probably 10 different types of species of oak. And the laurel oak trees are the ones that are prevalent in Florida here in the swamps, right? Damn bugs, get out of my mouth. Down the hatch, whatever type of insect that was. The slander schemes were created by political members and the Catholic Church. Yeah, I would imagine, right? Yeah. To this very day, you'll have in Christian communities um, these slanderous attacks against Masons, right? And it's all lies. Do you like bugs, Bod? No, I don't, but I understand their purpose. I have a natural fear of insects, as most people do. You've accepted the fact that I don't get notifications. Yeah. Um, YouTube's always tricky with those, right? Um, I apologize that you were not notified by the YouTube. To be fair, I didn't put this out to this morning, right? About 4 a.m., I put the video that I was going to be streaming, right? But good to see you, Ara. I hope you're doing well, our friend. Good to have you here. Your oak trees have the bark like the northern ash trees. Yeah, yeah. The laurel oaks, they make up the bulk of all the trees here in my grove. Yeah. Nice to see you, benign collector. Good to have you here. The insane witch king is here. Oh shit. The Lodge of England has multiple videos on YouTube showing every single ritual. It's much the same any other Semitic ritual like the church and stars and yeah. What I love about um, the Masonic tradition is the wisdom that they draw out of things like the Bible. Like his name is Pike, right? Pike was a great writer of the lodge, and he wrote all this star lore and things that you'd find in like the New Testament, all of this solar mythology. I thought I always that's fascinating to me, learning about how people take a book that has a certain context and are able to draw out of it all of this lore, right? I think that's the creativity there. I think is amazing. Um, Please say hi to me. Your name is Scant. Yeah, yeah. I don't know what you're trying to get at there. I thought I had a wife. She's at home. Yeah, I've been married for going on 27 years. Yeah, and been married a long time. Yeah, and 8 children, 3 grandchildren. Yeah, I've been around the block. Yep, the sun is shining down. I'm almost at the end here. Look at that for your entertainment leisure here. This weekend is Lunasa. I've been wanting to make a video. I don't know if I'll do that today. I'll try to. You might see it later on today, hopefully, about Lunasa. I finally made it through the wheel of the year, and I might share a video about talking about the mystery of the wheel of the year, celebrating your ancestors, celebrating the land, keeping that memory going, right? Um, what is your good to see you? Didico is your name. Unfortunate name. Yeah. But do you wish to be cremated or buried? I want to be buried. I want to be buried without formaldehyde being pumped to my body in a traditional pine box. And if I could afford it, I want to have a tree planted over uh, my body, so I can share my nutrients with the tree, right? Um, I believe the possibility of resurrection, and I think the burial of the body is a great symbol of hope in a resurrection, right? Um, why are you in the woods? Are you hunting rabbits? No, I'm in my sacred grove here in the wilderness. This is my church out here. This is where I find a, a unique intimacy and connection to the natural. Finding my bond with the grove to me is like a return to the mother, the womb, and experiencing the energies of the natural. You see the lights getting in my face now. It's coming right through the trees here. Let's see here. Is this channel for fun? Yeah, while I'm an entertainer, it certainly can be fun. Yeah. You saw a bird up in the sky, you watched for a minute, and it shat in your eye. Well, you could be blind for doing that. It would be hard to dig yourself out with a big ass tree on the top of you. You get it? Yeah, yeah. I want that is. I don't know if that will happen, but that's like a dream, right? To be able to um, share my essence with a an oak tree. I think that would be a beautiful way. I think people that are what they're doing to their bodies after death is terrible. It's an pumping it filled with all these chemicals to preserve yourself. I think that is a terrible thing for the environment, right? It's an ecological disaster. Cemeteries, right? Uh, I mean, this is all terrible. You should want to return to the earth, right? Why do you want to be preserved? What is the purpose of doing that? You want to be stuck in a glass coffin, perfectly preserved? Yeah, we'll fill it with honey, right? The best agent of preservation. Um, the golden throne of the powers of the Imperium at your disposal. What an escape your channel brings to people. Thank you. You're welcome. Image newfound, not found. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you saying that. I like sharing my life with people. I like sharing my stories and sharing the experience that have helped me to be a better person in life. Have you seen the movie The Fountain? Yeah, that I have seen that, but it slips my mind. I know that I've seen The Fountain. There's a context to that, right? Give me the context of that film so I can draw from my memory. Um, I'm seeing a tree. That's all I remember. What is a druid? A druid is a practitioner of an earth based philosophy, of spirituality, if you want to call it that. A druid is really you. Your nature is to be a druid. Your nature is to find meaning from the world around you, from the natural. That is what a druids do. They find everything they need um, in terms of their experience from within and around, right? Druidry is one of the fastest growing new types of spiritualities in the world because of its genius, which is it's for everybody. You can be an atheist, Christian, you can be a pagan. Most pagans practice Druidry. I mean, that's just a matter of fact. But it really is for everyone. I like art and animals. I saw a tiger, and well, beautiful. Yeah, there's some. What was William Blake's poem about a tiger? Tiger, tiger. Maybe why not? You know what it is. Uh, tiger, tiger, burning bright. It slipped my mind. Right. Um, William Blake wrote a beautiful poem about about a tiger, about the beauty of its experiencing the tiger. Right. Am I a wizard? I am in the evenings. Here I'm just a bard, making my way in the world, sharing my stories with people. Nothing more, nothing less than someone on a journey with you. Good morning to you, Viper. How have you been? How have you been, Viper? Right? How can I effectively commercialize Druidry? By living it, by letting people experience it through you, right? Now, having a proper form in terms of dialogue involves a proper education in it, I would say. And the Order of Bards, Ovites, and Druids has a wonderful um, resources for education to provide you with a stable um, conversation materials, right? Everyone does Druidry differently, but the order I belong to, I think it does an excellent job of helping lay great roots for your uh, frame the fearful cemetery. There you go. That is the beauty of William Blake's poem about the tiger, right? Well, you were trying to be funny. You just know too much. Oh, I'm sorry. That's an accident, right? Um, tiger, tiger, burning bright in the forest of the night. What's immortal hand or idea framed by frame by fearful semonstry, trying to capture the beauty of the tiger, right? This William Blake's beautiful poem um, about the tiger, right? Which you can, I think I put that poem in my, uh, I don't know if I, no, I don't have that poem. I did all these recitations of poetry in the past. I wouldn't know where to find it. That was a long time ago. Yep. You're doing good, Viper. Great. Right. What am I wearing? I'm wearing my Bardic cloak, my friend, honoring my ancestors, continuing the tradition of the bard in my own way. Um, you folk are wise and creative. Well, thank you. That's very kind of you to say. CK1, what does that mean? Our coyote friend here. What is CK1? Please educate me. Educate me. Can you brew the potion Obelix fell into? I do mix potions. I can brew you an ale. That's about it. Can't do anything outside of that. I can cook up some moon sugar. Yep. Nothing more of that. From the cauldron. Yeah. Silence is the cauldron of Celadwin. Come receive the Owen, my friends. Let it flow through you. Open your hearts to the presence that is all around you. Let it inspire you. Let it encourage you, my friends. Oh, you're going to recite it on Discord? Oh, wonderful. Our friend Why Not here is a wonderful um, uh, recitation of poems and things. He's got the perfect voice for it. We're looking forward to that. Yeah, I'm trying to tell them, get your own YouTube channel and share your wonderful voice with the world, my friend. Are you a wizard or a warrior? What depends on what day of the week it is. The wizard and warriors are evening events that we do with our gaming, right? In the mornings, I'm just a humble bard, making my way in the world, sharing stories with you. What is my favorite herb besides Mary Jane? Well, I love basil. Yeah. I saw your other channel where you ran after the leprechaun and robbed it of its gold. Yeah. Yeah. That was on my OnlyFans page. Yeah. Because I did it naked. Yeah. When will you absorb the energy from the sun? I'm doing it right now. The energy is all around, my friends. Philo Sebi, um, spiritual entertainment, my friends. 7 days a week I am here, and we are about to come to our conclusion for the day. I will return to you later to play some video games with you in the afternoon. And then tonight we have our community stream, 7 Days to Die, where we engage in missionary work, saving the lost. Um, until we meet again, my friends, have a great rest of your day.